everybody, and welcome to another brand new episode of Mornings with the Outlaw here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I'm the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by my co-host over there, Alex Shashek. How are you?
I'm good. I have some peppermint coffee, draft latte. It started to snow here in St. Louis. It's a beautiful, January day.
Wow, it's snowing there? I'm jealous.
Yeah, my cats are kind of going nuts right now. They're like freaking out. They're like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "This is nice. This is nice." It's like it doesn't snow enough here in St. Louis, so we gotta take advantage while we can.
That's great. Yeah, we're back. I know we took a couple of weeks, had the Christmas
Mhm.
break. I had something else pop up that I really needed to handle last week, so I apologize to you all, but we are back this week to talk about a lot of stuff going on in the world of entertainment. Certainly that Chris Evans story broke yesterday. We've got some updates on Ray Fisher situation over there at DC, him out officially from the Flash movie. Doesn't mean he's out of the DC universe itself, out of the Flash movie. And we'll see what the future holds for Ray Fisher. We'll talk about that as well. We got some new Mortal Kombat pictures that dropped this morning from the upcoming film. We got a new Cherry trailer from the Russo brothers. And that Netflix video that showed all those movies coming out in 2021. What does it symbolize? What does it mean? Is it a sea change? We're going to talk about all of that. And maybe we'll get into a little bit of WandaVision for a couple minutes. I got the first 3 episodes sent to me earlier this week, and I was able to finally watch them last night and thoroughly enjoyed them. So we will talk. Maybe I'll talk about that a little bit later. But anyway, all right. Let's get into our first story. And please remember the Streamlabs super chats. They are open. If you want us to read any of your if you want us to read any of your comments or questions, send them in through the Streamlabs and Super Chats. Right above Alex's head is the address, or look for it in the description of this video for sure. And maybe I should pin it to the chat. I've been told that that's something that the kids are doing nowadays, pinning these things to the chat so we can send in money. So it's not a bad idea. But let's get into our first story here, and that is this broke on Deadline. I want to give Justin Kroll credit for this one. It's an exclusive there. He is reporting that a deal is very close to being done to see Chris Evans return as Captain America, aka Steve Rogers, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's not apparently for another installment of the Captain America franchise, but more that he would come back a la RDJ as Iron Man. Of course, he can't really come back now. And other characters that have popped in and out of each other's movies. So that's what they're looking at here. And, Alex, this is on the heels of the sad passing of Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, and also this idea of starting phase 4 today officially with WandaVision, which is going to connect up into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which will eventually connect up into Spider-Man 3, but very much about the multiverses. So is this more a matter of Chris Evans will show up for a few scenes, do you think? And of course, we have Falcon and Winter Soldier coming later on this year. Will he make appearances there? Is that why this deal is being closed now? What do you think about this? First, your reaction, and then why you are excited for this one if you're not if you are excited for
it. When I first read the story, I thought it was fake, to be completely honest, because we hear stuff like this all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. And it's always stuff we hear on comic book news and things like that. And I always get mega hyped, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what if? It would be amazing. And the thing is, Chris Evans, he actually responded to some of these articles saying, news to me. And
emoji.
He's like, news to me. And that stuff happens all the time. And I do feel like a lot of actors are, in many cases, but sometimes the last to know about some of the details. Like, let's be honest. Do you remember when Hugh McGregor, how often he was fibbing away when he was like, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I definitely not in conversations to come back at all. I haven't gotten any word from it. Disney, give me a call. I haven't talked to you in years.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later,
we signed. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so we kind of hear that. So I kind of take it with a grain of salt. Mm-hmm. I do think this is a really interesting announcement, though, because after the big events of last week, politically in the Capitol. You know, there was a lot of conversation about, hey, where's Captain America? I need Captain America in my life right now.
Yeah.
And Chris Evans, he actually responded many times being like, yeah, Captain America would not be okay with this. Captain America would be like, F these assholes,
right?
You know, part of my French, and you know, this is not okay. You know, and they're doing it in Captain America's name, and he's incredibly territorial of that character and the namesake and everything, obviously.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, I was like, I wonder if it could be a mixture of maybe they offered him a good paycheck, maybe it's a reaction to the Capitol situation, a combination of all these things. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up, Alex. Is there are a number of factors that kind of lined up here? Is the the unfortunate passing of Chadwick Boseman? Was Black Panther going to be the one appearing in a lot of these slots that they were lining up for Phase 4? Was it going to be him kind of taking the mantle? And also remember in the comics, once Sam gets the shield, he gets the shield for a while, but then Captain America takes the shield back. The Patriot as well has the shield for a while, then he takes it back, or Captain takes it back. So are we opening up the door to what Sam talks about in the trailer for Falcon and Winter Soldier? There's something about that shield that carries extra weight or can be a little, I have a uneasy relationship with, right? The symbol of America for Black Americans and their experience versus white America and their experience. Will bringing back Captain America to kind of solidify the situation? Will he give the shield back to Cap? Will Steve come back? Will Chris Evans come back? It's interesting and it's so curious because he said he was done. There was all these people giving him plaudits and everything like that. And I wonder if maybe he got out there and he's like, you know what? I miss it. And this happens to athletes. This happens to people who are part of a crew for a while. Walking away from a crew at the time feels like the right decision because you want to try something new, get out there. But it's not until you leave something you realize how much you miss it or want it back or enjoyed it or what have you. And those are those things that I think maybe might be factoring the very real human things. So people who are like giving him shit or what, like I've seen some people I thought he was gone. Why is he coming back? It's like, we're all human beings, even actors, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to break it to you. And sometimes you want to come back to something you miss.
Crazy. People can change their minds. Bonkers. I do think something to remember as well is, like you said, not only do people change their minds, especially actors, but a part of me also wonders, do we need this? Because I know like you said, that they're kind of covering their tracks a little bit. It kind of reminds me a little bit, like I remember when I heard Toy Story 4 was going to be a thing. I was like, dude, we had a perfect trilogy. Don't touch it. It wraps it up so perfectly. We don't need this fourth one. And I have seen Toy Story 4, and I was like, you know what? This is a really great movie. And it's not my favorite Pixar movie, but by golly, it's a fantastic and adds a lot of extra layers to the trilogy I never really thought of before, and I'm very grateful for. But I remember when I heard that news, I was like, get out of here. Don't touch my perfect animated trilogy. Don't do it. It wrapped it up so perfectly. And just like Captain America, they wrapped up the Captain America character storyline so well. So one of the only ways I could see right now how that they could incorporate it maybe in a flashback or maybe in a hologram situation. But that's it personally.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing at the end of the day. I think, hologram could work. Certainly, we saw that at the end of Endgame with Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr. But I think more it's about the multiverse situation where you're going to have maybe an alternate universe where, remember, we're seeing that What If coming out soon, that animated series, and it's Peggy Carter's Captain Britain. So maybe there's a multiverse here where we see Cap and Peggy Carter fighting crime together. Wouldn't that be cool? Right? To see them continue that. It could be a lot of fun. Yeah.
You just introduced a concept to me I did not even consider.
But it would be fun. It would be fun to see that. And maybe also a little more adventures. A lot of people feel about the first Captain America movie that we didn't get more time with his crew there back in World War II, with Dum Dum and then leading the crew. All of that, we didn't get enough time with that whole crew. So maybe there's adventures that they go on with Cap is kind of a separate thing. So who knows? All those things are in play, and Chris Evans is doing the right thing here with this news. To me, I don't know anything because the deal isn't locked, and I can tell you this: being friends with Jeff Snyder and sitting down with some people who break news. Some of these deals are contingent on the privacy or the kind of behind the scenes nature of it. So it behooves them to respond in a way that's like, oh, I don't know. Is it happening? I don't know. Yeah.
John, we got to cut this episode short because I have to go leave and write some fan fiction. Okay. I got to write some Peggy Carter, Captain America fan fiction.
Fair enough.
Captain Britain and Captain America like fighting crime, in the multiverse. I got to make that happen,
Yeah. I'm just saying, it would be fun to see is all I'm saying. Yeah.
Being parental figures to Spider-Man. That's gonna be to Into the Spider-Verse. That's gonna be my new thing. Okay, I'm good for the day. But I like you said, there's a lot of privacy clauses that are involved, and this could be a whole tie-in as a direct result from unfortunately Chadwick Boseman's death, unfortunate passing, or it could be just like a last minute, hey, extra little flashback scenes. So we're just like tying in here and there. Right. So we have no idea at this time, obviously, the size of this potential character scenes.
Right. And there's a lot to explore here with Captain America. There's a lot, especially like you said, Alex, and I think you bring up an excellent point. What happened? You can't ignore what happened last week. We're not obviously it's not a political show, this show, so we're not going to get into that. You could go find that on Impolite on my channel. But like this could lead to something. This could lead to something, Alex. This could be one of the reasons he wants to come back and kind of maybe find a way to bring the country back together in a certain way. Maybe have a really iconic speech that kind of motivates people in a certain way. That's certainly possible. And Chris Evans is an outspoken liberal or Democrat here. Joe Biden's coming in to be president in a few days, and so maybe he sees the opportunity to come in and push this character in a certain direction and be part of hopefully a unification of the country in his own way. He's always been a very good guy, and you've seen his tweets and his comments and his posts. Very much people rally around Chris Evans, and it's an incredible thing to see. And I see a lot of excitement on social media for him. So we'll see what happens. As this goes along, we'll see. And he'll probably reveal to us, like, was it a thing about missing it? Was it a thing that he felt he wasn't 100% done with the character? And also, as you get older, is there a new approach, a new point of view, all of that can be explored here. So I'm excited for it. We'll see. I don't think it'll come back for a full movie, but it'll be exciting to see what it does end up becoming. But I'm here for it for sure.
Absolutely. I would love to see him also potentially take on not so much don the suit and the armor again, but I would love to see him possibly take on, help oversee S.H.I.E.L.D. and that's because there's a bunch of comic stories where that's his focus. Upon retirement, essentially. So
he said and Al Haskell brings up a good point. He's a very protective character. So the key is what is being added to this character that gives him more depth and so on. If Feige is a story that Evans loves for Cap, he'd do it. Yeah. So it may be a good story there that they've come up with behind the scenes. And this is not like, hey, I just picked up the phone and we figured it out. This has probably been going on for a while. It's just we're in the final stages of the negotiation, which is why someone like Justin Kroll over there at Deadline would release it as an exclusive to learn about. All right, let's see. We got a couple a few Streamlabs that have come through here. Andrew G. Donaty said, I bet Liam Neeson is part of Obi-Wan and just can't say what kind of part he'll play. Who's to say? But I'd expect a Force ghost or something, some kind of communication with Obi-Wan at some point, maybe a flashback. It'd be a shame if he didn't return. Yeah, we'll get to that story in just a little bit, Andrew G, but certainly you make good points here, and we'll cycle back to that once we get to the story. Thank you very much for your Streamlab. Ben_Rainer. Ben, good to see you. Says, hey, John and Alex, happy Friday. Hope you had a great week. Without spoiling it, I really liked WandaVision. Hope you guys saw it. Just curious, do either of you have a favorite show from like the 50s or 60s? One of my favorite is the classic I Love I Love Lucy. Absolutely. Alex, I hesitate to ask you this. Do you have any favorite shows from the 50s or 60s that you watch or maybe grew up watching with your family?
Yeah, absolutely. There was actually I didn't watch so much classic TV, honestly, growing up, just because we didn't have a TV. My parents,
Oh, okay.
my grandparents didn't have a TV. It was my mom grew up in a village with no electricity, so
Wow. Okay. Yeah,
that's
right.
just the way it was.
Of
Yeah,
course, of course.
she moved to the U.S. when she was like 12, but um, so I kind of discovered a lot of that kind of later in my life. But I Love Lucy is pretty darn fantastic. I'm excited for the biopic with Nicole Kidman coming out with her.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
definitely gonna.
Oh,
Bewitched.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
classic.
Bewitched is
That's
great.
not 50s, but that's a little bit older. That's like 60s, 70s.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But I agree. I loved. I used to grow up watching. I Love Lucy, the Dick Van Dyke Show. Those were some great 50s ones. Your show of shows on reruns, things like that were so great in the 50s. My Three Sons, and then of course eventually into the 60s and 70s and stuff. And those were all like on. Those were all reruns that you would that I watched growing up. But I do want to say, WandaVision absolutely captures the energy and the vibe of those shows. I saw some people, maybe of a younger generation, being like, I don't get what they're going for. It's charming, but I like it. I know I like it. I just don't get what they're going for. For those of us who remember those shows, they are very spot on in what they're doing. And then what it leads to. The third episode is where we're going to start to see more of what WandaVision is really going to be about. So the first two episodes are more about solidifying the relationship. So enjoy and watch those. It dropped today on Disney Plus, so definitely watch them, and they do a great job of it for sure. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate your question, my man. John Doe says, man, Captain America coming back faster than Superman after Doomsday, quote unquote, killed him. Still excited, but come on, let us miss him and let Falcon have time to shine. John, that's not a bad point you're making here. Everybody was concerned, or a lot of people were concerned with Anthony Mackie stepping into the role of Captain America. Alex, do you think this kind of steps on Anthony Mackie's toes a little bit? He was going to be a black Captain America. Now you're bringing back the white Captain America. Is this going to kind of take away a little bit of the shine from Anthony Mackie, or do you think this is all part of the storyline that they're overall working with in Falcon and Winter Soldier?
That's a really fantastic question. And I think that if we were to get a Captain America, I don't think it's going to be for a while. So with that being said, we have to remember it would be released after everything has been revealed regarding the Falcon and Winter Soldier series. So I think by the time he comes out, he is going to have some time to shine. And I do, hypothetically, if scenes were released right now, I'd be like, dude, come on. Anthony Mackie deserves so much more than this.
Yeah.
And there's so much to dive into it. And so I would be disappointed. But like I said, we're not going to be getting, I assume if we were to get it, we wouldn't be getting Chris Evans' Captain America for a good while.
Yeah. And you make a good point. It might be a bit before we see him because all this production has been pushed back. Alex, putting these things in motion is going to take some time. All the protocols, what have you. There may be a bit before we see Chris Evans' Captain America. Yeah, but I mean, there's a possibility you could see two Captain Americas at the same time with Sam and Cap fighting together with their shields, which would be awesome, passing the shield back and forth or throwing their own shields and what have you. So that could be a fun little team up with Bucky as well. I always felt he left the role too early. I always felt he walked away too early. He could have still handed the shield over to Sam and just gone off and done his own thing and went on his own journey and exploration or whatever. But so to me, I love that he's back. But you make an excellent point, John Doe. Like, is this going to take some of the heat or some of the spotlight away from this black Captain America that was come in? Because right now with BLM and all that, and Hollywood's supposed to be being aware of it, you got to tread lightly in these kinds of situations. I do trust Feige, but you've got to tread lightly here in this situation, and hopefully they get it correct and they'll come off as tone deaf. That would be a mistake on their part. Okay, John Doe says, okay, fun question. If you had to choose a post-apocalyptic world to live in, like the Mad Max world or a Quiet Place world, which one would you choose? Which post-apocalyptic world would you choose to live in?
This is a interesting question because there's so many different worlds. Some of my favorite movies of all time are actually post-apocalyptic. You can go into specifically like YA, like a sci-fi, like, or scratch that, Rain of Fire.
Nice.
I want to hang out with some dragons. What can I say?
Why not? Dragons are the shit. I totally respect that. That's a good answer. I think mine would absolutely have to be Mad Max. I love that series. Been such a fan of the series for a long time. So the way
it's different. Okay, for you being a big guy living in the world of Mad Max is one thing. Me,
yeah, it's true. That's a fair point.
Me barely being able to shoot a gun would not survive in the world of Mad Max.
I don't know though, Alex, because you do a good job when you're leading the call to action crew on the stuff you do. You could certainly have a crew behind you, if nothing else. You do have that alpha mentality. Yeah. You can handle.
Yeah, you know what? Therefore, I can totally manage the whole water rights situation of the world. Absolutely, I can do it. Furiosa, girl, get behind me. Back the F up. Who are you?
That's right. Get a gasoline. All right. Thanks, John, for that. Those Streamlabs. Really appreciate it. Thanks to Ben and Andrew G as well. Keep sending them in, folks, as we go along through the show here. Definitely want to answer them and answer any of your comments or questions that you have about what we're talking about. All right, Alex, let's move on to a little more Mortal Kombat action. Are you up for handling this story? Are you up for talking about it and getting it squared away, or do you need me to jump into another thing before we jump into the Mortal Kombat?
You know what, sir? How dare you? I am always ready for some Mortal Kombat. Okay, guys, get ready. Buckle the F up. We got some fatalities. We got some babalities. Yeah, I went there. This movie's going to be rated R, coming in hot. We have some pictures that were just released earlier today regarding the 2020 release of Mortal Kombat. Now, this is going to be directed by Simon McQuaid. I can't pronounce his name. I apologize. But we're going to be getting the return of so many amazing characters, Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, Lee Raiden, obviously Kano. Oh my gosh, Kano. And there's so much to dive into it. So it's going to be very much an origin story behind Mortal Kombat. And now the director has mentioned that this is going to be a new take on the Mortal Kombat story that we have grown to love from the bazillion games. I believe we're on like the 13th now. But the director has mentioned that this is being discussed as a blood universe. And excuse me, and the signature weapon is going to be one of the focus is going to be on Scorpion, played by Hiroyuki Sanada. Yep. I'm so sorry butchering the name, but but it really kind of origin story. It really kind of focuses on him in the first opening scene with it. But it's going to be produced by Aquaman James Wan, Ted Garner, obviously. But the 10-minute opening sequence kicks off in feudal Japan, long before the fighters are wielding supernatural abilities and get over here, obviously. And it's going to be focused on hand-to-hand combat. Now, they're going to be really fantastic as the leader of the ninja clan. He's incredibly strong, but he's also he's a peaceful family man. There's a lot of family drama, and there's a lot of mention about how this is going to be the emergence of this new blood family. So it's Simon McQuaid, he's mentioned blood represents family, blood represents a connection, blood represents who we are. Without getting too complicated, what we did use is blood executionally, but it's going to be a hard rated R, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, I was down, back when I worked at Collider, they sent me down under for the Diananda for this set visit, and it was a lot of fun to be down there. Certainly, you could tell from the director to the producers to the people involved with the production, there was a very respectful, professional, solid approach to this thing. This wasn't haphazard. This isn't being made on a shoestring budget. They definitely wanted to show a lot of love and care for this particular property and for the legacy of Mortal Kombat. all these great actors that are involved here. We got a chance to sit down with some of them and talk to them about their experiences on the set. That was awesome. And we got to walk on some of the actual pieces of the set, some of the fighting, some of the pieces where you're going to see the fighting, some of the like cave looking stuff. We got to see some of the scenes that were being shot, some of the fight scenes. I can't reveal who fought or whatever because you don't want to break that kind of stuff. But overall, it was an awesome experience being down there, reporting on it, talking to those people, and experiencing an entire day on the Mortal Kombat set. And I think people are going to be very, very impressed with this movie. The music as well. They played us some of the tracks of the music that had been composed for the film already, and there was some great music. And they slide in the classic, iconic, Mortal Kombat theme, but it's a little more elevated. It's a little more elevated, and I kind of love the crew that they're bringing in for this one as well. The actors wise, as you mentioned, Hiroyuki Sanada, who some of you may know from he's in Avengers Endgame. That's who Ronin kills there when he's in Tokyo. He's also in The Last Samurai. So Makad Brooks from Supergirl being in this thing is nice to see. And apparently he's jacked. We didn't get a chance to see him while we were there, but he is apparently huge. Louis Tan in this thing.
Oh gosh, he's so pretty.
He's certainly a good looking dude, no doubt. Max Huang, Elisa Caldwell, so many interesting characters actors involved in this. Josh Lawson as Kano. So I'm looking forward to it. Tadanuba Asano as Raiden. They're all in there. And Joe Taslim, who some of you may know from that what's the name of that film he did, that kind of zombie film he did that was pretty badass. He is involved in this film as well as Sub-Zero. So the fact that we're getting Sub-Zero, and Jessica McNamee is playing Sonya Blade. So we've got a lot of badass actors involved in this thing who are going to be part of it. I'm looking forward to it. Those pictures look awesome, and already you can tell from the pictures that it has a whole different approach than what we saw in the 90s. A lot of people like that first Mortal Kombat movie. They have a nostalgia for it. It doesn't hold up, but yeah, it's very
How
cultish.
dare you, sir? How dare you? It is my favorite video game movie of all time, and how dare you? Okay. It is actually my favorite video game movie, and I say that as someone that loves the Pokemon the movie. I say that as someone that loves I have a hard time with Assassin's Creed, but I get what they were trying to do. Anyway, but that's another conversation for another day. Right. The thing is, one of the great things surrounding Mortal Kombat is its mythology, and also it really leans into the violence in a really fun way, and which I'm excited they're really going to embrace in this film. Like I said, when it comes to this mythology, that's what I actually loved about playing the games, is like going on these missions and playing all these different levels and everything, and you're forced to, play with characters you haven't played with before, obviously. But it's so weird and creepy and fun, and it really just embraces all the creepiness. The thing is, I love playing with one of my favorite characters to play with was using Melina with her big face thing. Yeah. Sorry, my cat just had a bolt of energy randomly. Sorry. And there's so much like weird history surrounding it, and I'm excited to see how that could translate, because let's be honest, video game movies don't do well. I would love to see this break the trend, though. I really, really would.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they will. I think this one has that vibe and that feeling and that professional approach that you want to see from these movies, because a lot of people who are involved in movies, a lot of the executives, directors, producers, they've all heard that drumbeat of how video game movies don't do well. So they take it very seriously when they step into direct or produce or act in a video game movie, that they get it right, because they want to turn around that stigma. Because video games now, Alex, I'm sure you know this as well, over the last 20 years have become so cinematic. I mean, playing Ghost of Tsushima, which I'm finally doing on my PS5, like it is, I almost don't even want to play it. I just want to watch the world unfold almost like a movie. It's so incredible. So people have that reverence for these games, so they want to bring that same approach to a movie when they get the chance to take it on. So I'm looking forward to it 1,000%. Does it say when it's coming out, Alex? I don't know offhand when it's coming out.
Yeah, I didn't see anything. Unfortunately, I was hunting for a date, and it just said 2021. But it's going to be, scratch that. It's going to be filmed and scheduled for a simultaneous release in theaters, and it's also going to be released on HBO Max next April.
So on April 16th, this April 16th.
And
so
April,
upcoming April.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's
wait, it is okay. Scratch that. I just really realized. I just remembered that it was 2021. Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. I had in my head it was still 2020. That's where I am right now. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. And one of the
what is
quotes,
time?
Right. Nowadays, what is time? One of the quotes that I love here is that one of the editors here, the editor of the film, McCoy, he said that it's definitely not going to get a PG-13 rating. So that's an R-rated Mortal Kombat film is going to be pretty well received, I believe, from the fans. So that means they're not shirking on the blood, they're not shirking on the fatalities, they're not shirking on the fighting. So that's going to be cool to see 1,000%. So I can't wait to see that come forward when the time comes for sure. All right, let's see if we got any Streamlabs or super chats that have rolled through here. Yeah, Andrew G says, Hiroyuka Sanada is incredible. I can't wait now for this Mortal Kombat. Now, if you were directing a Star Wars, what kind of role would you put Sanada in? What kind of Jedi, perhaps, in what era? That's a good question. It's a good question. Well, I mean,
sorry, you got broken up there for a little bit. Can you repeat that?
Yeah. Let me repeat it real quick.
Sorry, it was like frozen there for a bit. Sorry.
No worries. Hiroyuki Sanada is incredible. I can't wait for this Mortal Kombat. Now, if you were directing a Star Wars movie, what kind of role would you put Sanada in? What kind of Jedi, perhaps in what era? Just to remind people who Hiroyuki Sanada is, he's the gentleman here being held down. He is, of course, as I said, he's the one from Avengers Endgame who Ronin battles and kills. And of course, some of you may know him from Last Samurai. He's fantastic as Ken Watanabe's second in command. He's a phenomenal actor with years of credits in the business. Where would you put him?
And overall, one of the most beautiful people ever. He's so gorgeous.
Sure.
I don't know about eras or anything in Star Wars, but I would love to see it. I would love to see more bad guys in Star Wars. Surprise. I would love to see him be a potential Sith Lord or something along those lines. Snoke was the character of Snoke was such a huge letdown to me. And so I would love for another character to really kind of take over that role, honestly.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know the books or anything. Heck, I would love to see like Thrawn or something really kind of come through. But the thing is, if he were in particular to be in the Star Wars universe, I wouldn't want to paint him up, though, to be honest.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
Don't paint up this beautiful human being. He's gorgeous.
I mean, I'd like to go back.
You have so few Asian actors. Come on, don't paint him up.
That's true. I'd like to bring him back to, the beginnings of the Jedi, the beginnings of all of that, because, the influences, and I've said this ad nauseum, and of course, many of you know this already, but the influences of Star Wars lie in Akira Kurosawa's Hidden Fortress, and of course that is a samurai movie, and Sanada has played samurais in a number of movies. So to have it go all the way back, and maybe he's one of the founding members of the Jedi Council, I think that would be awesome to see, kind of a nod back to Kurosawa by the franchise, and have him be one of these badass symbolic Jedi that influenced the overall order or the council or the tenets of the council. That would be fun to see. Or if he's the one who's rebelled against what the council is twisting the Jedi's actual point of views to be. So that would be fun to explore as well. But either way you give him to me, I want him, because he's such a great actor, and it'd be great to see him do some more fighting with a light. this time. So yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
There
So
was, wasn't there quite a few references to Kurosawa scenes, famous scenes in the second season of Mandalorian too?
yeah, absolutely. Certainly, the scene,
Mhm.
certainly the Ahsoka Tano episode had all kinds of Yojimbo vibes and some of the other sci-fi movies that he has done. Throne of Blood, all of that was definitely hinted and alluded to in that episode for sure. Plus, every time you see a wipe, ladies and
Mhm.
gentlemen, that wipe that is from Kurosawa. Go and watch those old 50s Kurosawa movies. He uses that wipe. So just letting you know that that's the influence there that George Lucas had from Kurosawa. And R2D2 and C3PO are essentially those two people in Hidden Fortress, those two companions to a princess, kind of like Leia. So all of that there is connective tissue for you all to take a look at and watch for sure. All right, where are we at here? Blabbity bleebity bloops. All right, let's see if we got any more. Yeah, John Doe sent in. He said, so excited for Mortal Kombat. This and Godzilla versus Kong are my most anticipated movies of 2021. Talking about awesome fight scenes. Have you all watched Warrior on Cinemax Now on HBO Max? The actor who is going to play Sub-Zero is on the show. So is this a different show than the film
Movie?
Warrior? Is that what they're saying?
Let me double check.
Yeah.
Let me follow up with that because I'm not for sure because I don't have Cinemax personally.
Mm-hmm.
Warrior as in 2019.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
I
so
see.
Warrior from 2019 is a TV show. Oh, it's actually it's a very well regarded, very popular TV show. During the Tang Wars of the late 1800s, On Sam, a martial arts prodigy from China, immigrates to San Francisco and becomes a hatchet man for the most powerful Tong in Chinatown. Dun dun dun. But yeah, a lot of it looks really stunning. It's like a mixture of like a period film with martial arts. It looks really cool though. I gotta check it out.
Yeah, I know. Some of my patrons have, when we were having our hangout the other day, suggested that I watch that because Bruce Lee, it's a series that Bruce Lee wrote and kind of created way back when. So they took what he had kind of laid the foundation for and then made a series out of it. So
Mhm.
I suppose I should jump into it at some point with all the free time that I have. I should at some point jump into it. But, if I make a point of watching it, I will find some time for sure. It looks pretty cool for sure, like you said, and it's already gone 2 seasons, so there's enough material to watch and enjoy. All right, let's see. Frank Contreras sent in a super chat. He said, "People need to watch the recent Mortal Kombat animated movie. It's brutal and badass. Can't wait for this movie." Yeah, do you think so as well? Have you seen this one, Alex?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have. I love the animated movie. I love a lot of, I love DC animated movies and everything. I've seen a whole bunch of them on the big screen. Mask of the Phantasm is actually my favorite Batman movie ever. It's like my favorite Batman movie in particular.
Yeah.
So I know that's a hot take. But yeah, I really loved that animated movie. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm very glad they went to that level, and I hope to see more. I really hope that they took a page from the animated film for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, then Brian Brawler sent in one. He says Nintendo is dropping the ball. They could have made some good movies out of their franchises. Example: Metroid Sci-Fi Space Adventure. Yeah. What are your feelings on that one, Alex?
100%. I'm still waiting for my Spacebox film movie. Like, give me that movie. Oh my gosh, I was obsessed with that game. Like, I loved that game. Yeah, the opportunity was completely there. I am curious if they're going to be, because I know they're going to be releasing somewhat soon when everything kind of calms down, turns around. They're going to be doing their theme park. That looks amazing. And so I hope they get a little more experimental and start doing some films.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for them to get going, but like they've at some point got to take advantage of the characters and the stuff they've set up there over the years with Nintendo and the kind of fan base that they have. And I know they're working on it. I know they're working on trying to get these movies in motion and get them made. It's just not easy overall with where we're at right now in the movie landscape, with all the restrictions and the requirements and all of that with COVID. So maybe they're just kind of now taking this time to kind of generate ideas and figure out what they want to do. Yeah. All right. One last Streamlab here that came through from John Doe. For now, he said, fun question. So you're stuck in space with a xenomorph, or you're stuck in a base in Antarctica with the thing? And yes, which one? You have to choose one. So which one would you choose? All right, Alex, would you want to be stuck in space with a xenomorph, or stuck on a base in Antarctica with the thing? 1982 is the thing.
It's funny. He compares these two because these are very, very similar, like almost identical. When you think about a lot of the details, I mean, like it's a haunted house in space. And the other one's a haunted house essentially in Antarctica. Which feels like space in a lot of different ways. But honestly, for survivalist reasons, I would go with Xenomorph, because at least it's easier to identify and hide from, in theory, versus the thing. You don't know where it is. You don't know what it could be, obviously. So it's a lot harder to defend yourself.
Yeah, I agree. I'd rather be with a xenomorph in space, because at least there's a team of people that are trying to help me get out. Because listen, you can't create these questions and erase the factors involved in those movies. So John Doe, it's a cute question, but do I get the crew in Antarctica or the crew on the spaceship? So I'd rather take the crew on the spaceship rather than the crew in Antarctica. So, but you're right, Alex, a lot of similarities. Both of those crews ill prepared to handle the thing that has come onto their into their base, or onto their spaceship. So yeah, I'd rather go with that crew though up there, personally speaking. And I mean, the thing, man, when that thing sprouts legs and fuck that. I can't handle it. It scares the shit out of me. So
that's some Cronenberg stuff right there. I'm not here for it. I don't want it.
Cronenberg wet dream.
I don't want that.
All right. So, Alex, let's take a quick moment to plug some stuff before we move on to the latter half of the show here. Please, what's going on in your world? What has been going on? What have you got to plug here?
Yeah. Here this coming Tuesday, we're gonna be doing a patron episode of Cinema Bias, and we're gonna be covering a movie I haven't seen since high school, and I'm sure it's gonna be a favorite of yours. It's Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm really excited, and again, I haven't seen it in so many years, so I'm like really curious to see how it holds up. And there's a lot that's into that movie from what I remember. So I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to go down. I also, with Call to Action, if you're not familiar, that's the podcast I am actively a part of. So definitely check it out. We're available in podcast form. And also, we just set up a Patreon. So if you like this space, come hang out over there with us. We have a whole bunch of Patreon exclusives, and we're trying to definitely expand and make it much more fun and interactive for y'all. So we would really love you came and check it out.
There you go. And if you want to see me taking on Frank Janish in the Schmobates show that just happened a couple of days ago, or was it last night? What is time, Alex? I think it was a couple of days ago. Feel free to go and watch that as well. That was a lot of fun. So a lot of stuff they're doing that's great over there on the Call to Action Army. On my side of things, later on today, we've got the live episode of Strong Style, a professional wrestling show here on the channel. We're going to talk about a number of things with Aaron Turner. For sure. That's where I'm wearing my Einsteiner shirt. We have a little fun talking about that as well. I'm going to be on SEN Live at the top of the hour for a couple hours. Come and hang out with me there. We're also dropping our WandaVision reviews here on the channel. The Geek Buddies are dropping our WandaVision reviews. We're going to review the first 2 episodes, drop that episode tomorrow. And our special guest for these reviews on the Geek Buddies, Emma Fife. Emma Fife coming in to be our special guest on these Geek Buddy reviews of WandaVision. So we're excited to have her on the channel, debut on the channel, and talking about WandaVision for tomorrow. And then, we've had Impolite Truths last night. The Jedi Way dropped a new episode where Laura Kelly and I tackled the Han Solo legacy and revisited Solo, a Star Wars story. And of course, the Geek Buddies dropped yesterday morning as well, talking about a number of things. But of course, the Geek Buddies dropped for A, Captain America story, and B, the story we're about to get into next. So get involved with all of that, and remember to subscribe down below as well. And listen, you're watching now. There's over 100 of you watching now. Please hit that like button. We only have like 68 likes. So get us above 100 likes before we end the show. I would appreciate it very, very much. All right. Keep sending in your Streamlabs and Super Chats as we go along. All right. Our next story here, Alex, kind of a tough story. We've been keeping tabs on this one as it's been going along, but certainly we need to update you all on this. It is the Ray Fisher versus Walter Hamada and in essence versus DC situation that is happening here. It's an ongoing battle between him and Warner Media. Some of you know, all of you should know that Ray Fisher, of course, was Cyborg in the Justice League and in Zack Snyder's universe, and he'll be, of course, coming back to be Cyborg Victor, aka Victor Stone, in Zack Snyder's Justice League, which will date. We're right around the corner. I mean, we're halfway through January already. It's in March, so it's not that far away that we're going to be getting Zack Snyder's Justice League. But he tweeted out a big statement, a letter. If you've seen this, I can put it up here. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll put up the letter here and tell you the basic points of it here. He is basically confirming that he is officially out of the Flash movie. And he also said that his role was more than a cameo, which is going against what some of the websites, some of the entertainment sites had reported. It is more than a cameo. It was much larger than a cameo. That's his direct quote. And he says he's okay with being removed from the film because his fight with DC Films boss Walter Hamada is, quote, a much more important contribution to the world. He goes into his issues with Walter Hamada in this letter. He alleges that he believes Hamada made a, quote, purposeful attempt to undermine the Justice League investigation. He also says that Hamada made an off-color joke about the fact that he didn't want to end up on Twitter. He felt that Walter Hamada was trying to, in essence, persuade him not to pursue this thing, and that Ray Fisher was made to feel like he had to force the issue, to have this issue go up the chain of command. Now, Warner responded to these tweets from Ray Fisher and the Warner Media CEO, Ann Sarnoff. She said this to the Hollywood Reporter. She fully backed Walter Hamada and doesn't believe Ray Fisher's accusation. She says, I believe in Walter Hamada and that he did not impede or interfere in the investigation. Furthermore, I have full confidence in the investigation's process and findings. Walter is a well-respected leader, known by his colleagues, peers, and me as a man of great character and integrity. And they just re-signed Walter Hamada to an extension at the studio. So certainly them showing some backing to Walter Hamada. And a spokesperson also told Deadline that, quote, an extensive investigation was conducted by an outside law firm led by a former federal judge, was assured Warner Media that there were no impediments to the investigation. The investigation concluded there were no specifics to the accusations or findings, saying that only that it is concluded and, quote, remedial action has been taken. So, Alex, you read this over. We've heard this story. What's your feelings now as you look at the situation?
It's a complicated situation with a million to one details that if we're going to be talking about this statement, we have to talk about the years worth of statements leading up to it, the back and forth, the drama that's gone behind the scenes, and a lot of the other people that also backed up Ray Fisher as well, such as Momoa. And so it's really kind of a weird situation, trying to react to this, because I see this and it's really, really frustrating to see studios, because I understand, because let's face it, everyone has different experiences with some people. Like, one person can be a horrible person to one person, and to another person, they can be the best person ever. Everyone has different experiences with the same people. And so by saying this person's experience is completely unjustified, it's phony, he's making it up or whatever it might be, it's really awful. It's really, it's very untruthful, I feel like. And so I understand that they're backing up Walter Hamada, they're signing the contract, but also it's a business, it's a corporation, they have to protect their assets. And so I understand from their perspective why they're back in a very public forum.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, I think at the end of the day, this is very much because Ray has not surrendered too many details and too many specifics. He says in the letter that Walter Hamada was trying to grill him to get him information about who was saying what about Geoff Johns, and he felt that was because they wanted to protect the brand and protect Jeff, who Walter Hamada, of course, was co-running DC Films with at the time. But Geoff Johns has been slowly moved out. Whedon has been let go, so there have been ramifications from this. Their names were taken off as producers for Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is a very powerful statement here from Ray Fisher. He is walking further and further out onto the limb to make a point. And so I think eventually, though, people are starting to ask questions, and I think it's fair to ask questions about what are the specifics, what are the details. We need some real specifics and details, and I wonder if that's coming down the line, coming down the road as well. It's important to have those, I think, so that we understand what happened. I think people stand with Ray Fisher. Absolutely. I stand with Ray Fisher in the fact that he had a right to make these accusations. If, as you said, Alex, if he felt this was his experience, then you have to validate that and have the conversation with him. But if he has suspicions that you were trying to undercut where he was at, or kind of not get, or find a way to kind of protect your brand, which wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for a studio, ladies and gentlemen, then he's got a right to also question your intentions. So we shall see. I mean, this very much is a strong back and forth between both people digging their heels into the sand about it. And this means he's out of the Flash movie, but it doesn't mean clearly he's out as Cyborg officially 100%. But I think we're going to hear down the road that they're going to move him out as Cyborg after Zack Snyder's Justice League is screened and over, I imagine. Yeah.
Something to remember is that every studio is going to have flaws. Every studio is going to have people taking advantage of their positions and power.
Yeah.
Whether it be wanting to make really horrible racist comments, really sexist behavior, regardless, it's a really unfortunate situation. But I feel like that's the case. Every corporation, every group of people is going to have people, unfortunately, to some level, people in power taking advantage of their role, right? Thing is, if someone comes to you being like, hey, this is my experience, okay.
Right.
Absolutely. We need to not only address it, we need to talk about it and figure out what the problem is. Great. There just needs to be an open conversation surrounding it, and knowing that there hasn't been a solid open conversation makes it that much more frustrating. And if there was an official apology, or anything along those lines, that'd be one thing, but there wasn't anything along those lines. There was like, sucks to be you. We're gonna make it that much harder for you to get movie roles. But everyone else can be, quiet away. But we're gonna make it that much more difficult for you.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's a very unfortunate situation that he's kind of Ray Fisher is being put in, because he gets, let's be honest, he gets no real benefit for really, like you said, walking on that ledge. He doesn't get additional fame. He's not getting money or anything along those lines, as far as we know. But the studios, they have a lot to lose, everything to lose in this whole situation. So,
even Marvel, Alex, 20 plus movies in. Finally, you hear in phase 4, we're going to have more diversity. We're going to do this or that. So even a big successful studio like Marvel realized, we've got a lot of white people in our stuff. Maybe we start a lot of white males in our stuff. Maybe we need to expand the world out a little bit more going into phase 4. And you're seeing that with the casting across the board, how much they're opening the door to diversity more and more in phase 4. So yeah, you're right. The studio sometimes it has to learn, but also, you know, I applaud Ray Fisher for putting his guts out there and putting his stance out there, because he is not a well-known actor in the way that like Denzel Washington is. He's not a well-known, he doesn't have a team of lawyers that are like huge money paid lawyers. Like, he's one guy who just got his first gig and experienced a pretty terrible experience. And he's standing up for himself and pushing back and fighting back against a huge company. Not an easy thing to do. So I give him a lot of respect for doing that, for sure. All right, let's see what our next thing is here, Alex. We're running out of time, and I've got a little bit, but did you, the Cherry trailer dropped yesterday from Apple TV Plus. This is from the Russo brothers. It stars Tom Holland. It'll be coming. It's based on the Nico Walker novel from 2019 of the same name. The story follows the wild journey of a disenfranchised and unhinged young man from Ohio who meets the love of his life, only to risk losing her through a series of bad decisions and challenging life circumstances. This one also stars Ciara Bravo, Kelly Berglund, Thomas Lennon, Jack Rayner, Michael Gandolfini, and Jeff Wahlberg. And it comes out next month, February 26th, and debuts in cinemas and debuts globally on Apple TV Plus on March 12th. So talk to me, Alex. Did you see this trailer? Did you like this trailer? What's your feeling about it when you saw it? Oh, and the Russo brothers are producing this thing. So there you go.
I felt so, you know, no big deal. Not too many famous people involved. Who knows these Russo brothers directors? Because I don't know. You know, this is definitely one of the most talked about trailers, perhaps not of the year, but for quite a little bit, you know, with everything going on right now, obviously. And this is also one of the first major roles outside of the MCU, outside of like a teeny bopper kind of situation with Tom Holland that we're going to see him in. This is heavy action. It's going to talk about drug use. It's going to involve PTSD. It's going to talk about mental illness. There's a lot of darker themes to this movie we haven't really seen in the MCU, obviously. Well, as Mike touched on some darker themes in MCU, obviously, but not to this level with the directors, and especially not from Tom Holland, that for a lot of people kind of still think of as a child, even though he's like 25 years old. He's a man. He's an adult. So I'm pretty excited, and you know, I mean, it looks really cool. It looks like a very tight action rhyme movie. So I'm excited to see that kind of go down.
Yeah, I think it looks unique. It looks interesting. I agree with you. There are shades of other movies within this. You know, they got some scenes that remind me of Jarhead. There are some scenes that remind me of that those two films that came out a couple of years ago about PTSD. God, who was in one? Who was the other one? Oh, Miles Teller, the one with Miles Teller, where he is coming back home and what that feels like.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Yes, great film. A really good film about PTSD that I enjoyed.
Draft me, baby. Draft me.
Yeah. If you're in there,
I'm not in it. I'm not. I didn't audition.
You're like, yeah. I mean, all that, and it also has like Old Man and the Gun. If anybody you saw Old Man and the Gun, there's that kind of vibe to it as well. And even what's the one with the kids stealing the painting out of that
that is something animals, not Nocturnal Animals.
Oh, yeah.
It's something animals.
Yeah, I haven't, as you can tell, I haven't been studying up yet, but I will be getting ready soon.
Okay. Now I feel bad. Now I just feel draft me, yet I don't know what this movie is. I got to find out now. American Animals.
American Animals. Yeah, there you go. American Animals. There you go. Yeah. And that was from stealing what they stole. So there was a lot of shit. But that being said, this looks very interesting. I love the love story in the middle of it. I really enjoyed the chemistry those two have. I think that's the actress from Ray Donovan. So to see her kind of moving into feature films and having her go back and forth with isn't that the, I think is that the actress from Ray Donovan? I want to make sure I'm right. I don't want to be off on this one because
I've never seen Ray Donovan, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
So I can't comment.
That's fair. Totally fair. I think Ciara Bravo. Is it Ray Donovan that she was in? No, I'm wrong. It's not. What have I seen her in then? Geez, I can't remember what I might have seen her in, but I've seen it.
She does look familiar.
Yeah.
Well, that's something I definitely thought I enjoyed with the movie is that there was a clear chemistry, and it, like I mentioned, it feels like a very nice high crime movie, but at the same time, a lot of the specific relationships, it felt real. It felt very genuine for this movie for sure. And I also think it helps that there's for this movie, there's not like a lot of big name stars. Again, there's not Brad Pitt just casually hanging out at the corner. You know, and did you see that? Did you see the scene where him going to the recruitment center?
Yes. Yeah, of course.
That scene, I saw that and I'm like, yeah, I know like 10 guys that went through that exact same situation. And they were like, it was that exact same, like line for line. And I was like, oh shoot.
Yeah, sorry about that. That was Joey King that was in Ray Donovan. My apologies. She's in that Kissing Booth series on Netflix. Ciara Bravo. I saw her in a show called Wayne. That's where I remember her from. So I like that she steps into this role. Her and Tom have a really great chemistry throughout that trailer. So hopefully it'll have it in the movie as well. We shall see. As I said, this one comes out in theaters on February 26th and then globally March 12th on Apple TV Plus. So there you go. All right. Let's see what else we got here. What's our next one that we want to jump into here? Oh yeah. So this is coming to us from an interview with over at Collider, Liam Neeson talking in promoting his new film, The Marksman, which looks good, by the way. I can't wait to watch that one. Maybe do a mini review of it as well. He was asked about his return to Star Wars, to maybe reprising Qui-Gon Jinn. Liam Neeson said, I'll be honest with you, I haven't heard that at all. And then he asked if Star Wars is starting to fade away from the cinema landscape. That's why he thought maybe he won't be back. He was asked about maybe he'd pop up in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series in a flashback sequence. And he said, quote, at that point, the reporting said at that point, a smile spread across Neeson's face. And he answered, sure, I'd be up for that. Yeah. So so it's a very interesting thing. A lot of people kind of suspect that he might be coming back. This feels like we're getting closer to a confirmation that he'll be coming back as Qui-Gon Jinn. Alex, do you care or are you excited by this? What's your thoughts as you hear the fact that Liam might be winking at the possibility of coming back?
I love Liam Neeson. One of my favorite personal favorite crime movies is actually Walk Among the Tombstones. It's super underrated. If you have not seen it, go check it out. It's great. It's so wonderful.
Agreed.
So great. The thing is, Liam Neeson has really come into his own as this actor that's doing all of these like smaller crime action films, and he really kind of found his thing there. And as well, he's become much more popular. I'm very surprised he hasn't been approached already.
Oh yeah,
publicly at least, about coming back as Force Ghost or something along those lines. And thing is, it's because he has come back before in other, like he came back in, I think it was Batman Returns, not Batman Returns, the Dark Knight Returns or whatever that the third trilogy film was, where he was like a premonition or a memory or something.
Well, he showed up in the Dark Knight Rises. He showed up in the Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises. That's one. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. And so, clearly he has no qualms about it. Also, he's like one of the few aspects of the prequels that a lot of people love. So, him, Hugh McGregor. Oh my gosh, like people love his characters so much, myself included. And I like him so much more because he is obviously a beautiful man. Oh my gosh. Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Liam Neeson.
I'm down with it. I can't wait to see him. I know he's definitely going to be. And Andrew G, you sent in your Streamlabs. So yes, I think he's absolutely coming back. I think he's going to be a Force Ghost. I think he's going to do all of that while he's in there. And why wouldn't you bring him back? Because it kind of ties the ties the Kenobi Anakin thing. If you're bringing back Vader, you kind of have to bring back the other part of that trilogy, that holy trilogy, which is Qui-Gon Jinn. So maybe there is a thing where he shows up on one side and there's a real kind of like, like forced conversation happen or forced fight that happens. Insane for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm down with it. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it 1,000%.
And to date, it has my favorite Star Wars battle as far as the entire Star Wars franchise between Duel of the Fates, that iconic theme. It's actually a theme I actually run to. That's the thing I run to whenever I start prepping. And that with with Ewan McGregor, and oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good.
Agreed.
I don't want to cry again watching him die. So,
Nice. All right, let's get into some Streamlabs here before we wrap up the show, Alex. John Doe says, so first, to the last question I said, yes, John, you have teams in those situations because you need, quote, red shirts. Absolutely. And second, I have no option on the Ray Fisher situation. I have no opinion on the Ray Fisher situation because it's hard for me to say anything without anything being out there firsthand. Yeah, eventually there will be some details dropped, I imagine, by Ray Fisher, but I believe legally he's not dropping these details because there are probably a number of people involved, and at this point, he doesn't want to quite drop these details yet. So I'm sure his lawyers are telling him what to do and what not to do. All right, here's another question for us, Alex. Yeah, I'm sure there are. Yeah, it's a good point, Alex. Yes. Alex, he wants to know, this is a fun question. What setting in any movie would you like to vacation at? What setting in any movie would you like to be at? Would you like to go to a vacation?
Any setting, any movie setting.
That's a tough question. Vacation.
Oh my gosh. I can give you 10, like right now.
Okay.
Now, like the one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hogwarts.
Oh, you would vacation at Hogwarts? Okay.
Not as well. I mean, like I would pay so much money to go to Hogwarts. Oh my gosh.
You gotta go to the one in Orlando. You gotta go to the one in Orlando.
No, I've been there. It's cool. I enjoyed it. Get out of here. I want to go to real Hogwarts. I remember when I went on my honeymoon throughout the UK and Ireland. Oh my gosh, we ended up taking a tour out there, going through the Highlands and everything, and we actually drove by a lot of the areas where they shot a lot of the scenic areas, and I was like, this is what I need. And I found out like Wi-Fi is non-existent there, but I was like, I want to live here.
Right. I'm going to cop out. With a place that is actually in existence, and that would be in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, where they were vacationing in Hawaii was awesome. It was beautiful. That was a couples retreat's another one, like these beautiful locations with the water that is light blue, just so incredible. So that's where I would vacation at. I love that movie, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. So just a lot of fun.
Do you love that song? The puppet Dracula puppet Muppet. It's getting kind of hard to believe things are going to get better. You take it from me, I swear I'll let it be so. If you haven't noticed, I love that song.
Die.
I
can't. I love that scene.
And you see like Mila Kunis, they're like,
I know. And then everyone's like stunned. And then the dude's like,
what's going on here?
Oh, I love that.
Oh my gosh, I'm crying. It's so good.
I love that movie so much.
Jason Segel, I just need a full-on Jason Segel musical. I need it.
Bring him back, ladies and gentlemen. I love his movies. All right, John Doe says, great Great show, Alex and John. Hopefully, it won't take me months to watch it online again, to watch another show live again. And John, see you later tonight on your wrestling show. Thank you very much, John. Good to see you. Thank you. Andrew G said Liam Neeson did return to the role for a moment, voicing Qui-Gon in Clone Wars. You're right, he did. I think he was the best part of Phantom Menace. I'll be very happy to see him return again. Certainly, that's true. He is. It wouldn't be the first time he's back, but a voice is not a physical thing on screen. So this will be fascinating to see because, of course, Liam is much older than he was in 1999. So do Force Ghosts age? Like, what are they going to do? This will be curious to see. So, and then
Ben Rader said, haven't done any kind of de-aging in Star Wars. No de-aging in Star Wars at all.
Nope, no, I've never seen it. I don't know what you're talking about. Ben Rader said,
my uncle-in-law actually worked on that. He did, wow. And he was like, yeah, struggle, yeah,
easy.
Struggle. Like
Ben Rader says predicting Kenobi gets kidnapped and they bring on Qui-Gon Jinn because he has a certain set of skills to rescue Kenobi from Jawas. LOL. Yeah, a combo of Qui-Gon Jinn and Taken is what essentially he's pitching. Have you got Obi-Wan? I've got certain set of skills. Yeah.
Is that like a fan video somewhere?
That should be.
Like, somebody can we make that happen? Instead of you hear like the lightsaber, like whatever that lightsaber sound is, like in the background, you see the glow.
Yeah.
Get me a character to Tatooine or something, or flying.
All right, one last thing we should talk about before we wrap up, Alex. You saw the Netflix video that highlighted all these movies coming out in 2021. To me, it feels like a bit of a sea change. They're saying we're going to drop these movies every week in 2021. What's your feeling about this? Do you think this is a full-on change now from theaters to streaming? Now this is Netflix just diving in with all the money they've spent. So many great films were highlighted in that 2-minute, 20-second trailer. What's your feelings on that real quick?
I think this is just a real quick reminder being like, hey, Apple, Amazon, all this other HBO Max, you ain't got shit on us. And it's a good reminder of all the real big stars they have attached, in front of the screen and behind the screen. Halle Berry, Lin-Manuel Miranda, a lot of these actors are making the directorial debuts. A lot of these directors are doing experimental movies. We're finally getting that Amy Adams movie where she sees the girl in the window or whatever it's called. We're finally getting that, so this is just a real quick reminder being like, hey, you guys can be cool with all your Mortal Kombat and Justice League and everything, but we also got literally everyone else, so calm down.
Yeah, so calm it down. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a great reminder. That's a good point, Alex. A reminder to everyone else, hey, we're still around, ladies and gentlemen, and you need to pay attention. Has to be paid here with what we're doing. So give it some love. There you go. So that's a great point, Alex, and I agree. And it's great. I want to see the Rock movie. I want to see the Halle Berry MMA movie, Regina King's movie there, the Western that she's got there. So much involved here. And of course, Army of the Dead from Zack Snyder. So I'm looking forward to it. So as I said last year, and I'm going to say it again, if you've been thinking about starting up a YouTube channel, you're not starting one this year, you're an idiot. This is the year to do it because there's so much fucking content that's going to be out there to stream and for you to watch that you can build up your channel off of that. I am making some changes in the channel to allow more time for me to do these things. So I will be doing more reviews as well, just to catch up with everybody else. So to see if anybody will watch my stuff, we're going to do them. So, and speaking of reviews, don't forget as we wrap up here tomorrow, WandaVision review will be up tomorrow on the channel. The Geek Buddies getting together with our special guest, Emma Fife, to review the first 2 episodes of WandaVision. And Alex, let's wrap up here. Where can they find you? Yep.
You can find me right here on Twitter at @real_AlexMack. You can also be doing a whole bunch of stuff with the Call to Action, a podcast found anywhere podcasts are found. And like I said, Schmobates, this fine fellow was on a Schmobate recently. It's where we debate all things Schmo down. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm going to be having a Dan Murrell, Mark Canopic match.
Oh, nice. That'll be fun.
Oh my gosh. When I found out this could happen, I was like, Excuse me. That's how excited I was. I started heaving and coughing. And I also co-host a show called Cinema Bias with Drew Grant, where we dive into personal biases in movies. We've actually had John on a handful of times.
Yes.
And where we dive into movies where we just kind of dive into our movie biases and why we watch some and not others, etc. So thanks so much. Thank you. I would really appreciate a follow though.
There you go. Do all of that for sure. And remember to follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Remember to hit subscribe on the red button there below the video. Give us some love here on the channel. We're close to crossing 15,000 subscribers. Help us get there if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel. So much great content going on. Don't forget later on at 4 p.m. PT, Strong Style Live. Aaron Turner and I are back, talk a little pro wrestling. And don't forget to see me in about 10 minutes over on SEN Live. So a lot of love to all of you. Please remember, hit that like button. Leave a comment down below if you're watching it after we recorded it live, and a lot of you do. And share this video on your social media. Let people know that this is out there for people to get involved in. All right. Much love to all of you. Thanks so much for hanging out with us this morning. And please take care of yourselves. Practice your social distancing. And what do we tell them, Alex?
Wear one of these bad boys.
Yeah, there you go.
Pretend like you're in Mortal Kombat.
Sub-Zero.
Get over there. Wait, more like stay over there.
I love it. All right, see y'all.